How's it, guys? Just thought to start off a Monday morning with something nice, something memories. Uh, yes, today is the day that the player that's probably had the most influence. Now everybody's got their own Jonah Lomu memory, and there's so many of them. Anybody who was around back then, but just what a incredible player he was. Just the power, pace, to have so much and aggression in him. This is the game I was at. It was at Ellis Park in the '95 World Cup. There, the young Jonah just bumps them off, and he changed the face of that tournament. Everything about him just changed the face of that tournament. Just looking at it again, he's got one-on-one here, just bumps him off pretty easily, takes two defenders out, and that was his first try in the World Cup. Then he had this one at the World Cup as well. The same game. They're getting. Looks like Josh Kronfeld there giving it to him, but just too much pace and power, going over there at the back there. Certainly the big fella was somebody to contend with as a defender. Anybody who played against him said that, and that made it so incredible. This was at Loftus Versfeld, the Scotland game. Scored another couple of tries there, and totally made the Scottish defence look ordinary. He makes it look so easy, and I think anybody who played against him says it. And this was the famous semi-final in Cape Town. Years that he got the bad bounce of the ball, knocked off the one, and then poor old Mike Catt over here ran over him quite easily. It's a try we've seen replayed so many times, and what a score from him. One player, and just on pace beat the second player, was stumbling and then just ran over Mike Catt. And it's a day that Mike Catt will never forget. It's a day England fans will never forget. A day that the rest of the world knew that Jonah Lomu was not only the real deal, but just such an immense force in rugby. This, of course, made him very difficult, and the way the Springboks stopped him in that World Cup final was just absolutely brilliant. There's the still pictures of Japie Mulder, Joost van der Westhuizen, and James Small all taking him down. He never scored against the Springboks in that game, and big time. He scored 4 tries in this semi-final, and just here's number 3, as we can see in the corner there. England were totally demolished in the semi-final. It was probably one of the most one-sided games in World Cup history between two Tier 1 nations. Just the big fella just steaming along there, and what a player.
He has another one of him. This is his 4th try in that same game in the demolition. It just was, I think it shocked the whole world that day. I remember sitting on the way back from Durban, watched the other semi-final with the Springboks, and just watching this game with just in total awe of just how powerful. Every time he touched the ball, there seemed to be a try. And thumping down the sideline, that's the way we knew him. Jonah Lomu, what a great player he was. Of course, it wasn't just the World Cup. He did this in the Tri-Nations as well. There's Frank Bunce getting away. And this was the Bledisloe Cup game. But the type of rugby, the basketball rugby that they were playing in that stage, from that far out, it's quite easy that he would have scored anyway. There's no way that Jonah, as it says there, nuclear threat that he was. But that was made by Frank Bunce, let's be honest, that team. And Frank Bunce was a classy centre at that stage. There's Goldie, Jeff Wilson in his heyday, and giving it to the big fella. And this wasn't a bad Aussie team at the time. It was really, they went on to win the World Cup in 1999. But you just beat that first tackle, beat the second tackle, and he just had so much time and space, and he just made it look so easy. Nowadays we're used to bigger players bumping off players, etc. But at the time, he was such an anomaly for the sport, and such a great player. And I know you say it over again, but there wasn't a player that changed rugby the way he did. Of course, he didn't have all his own way. He lost a terrible semi-final against France in 1999. He lost the World Cup final in '95. So he didn't exactly get there. But just look at that. I think this was Italy, if I'm not wrong. And just... you sort of watch it and you just think to yourself, what power in those legs. Now, I happen to have the privilege of interviewing him in Auckland before one of the Tri-Nations games back then, and very quiet spoken, very humble, very unassuming player. You would never have thought was the big guy. Of course, it was very highly publicized that he married a South African girl, They later left, got divorced. But yeah, in his rugby career, there was just no stopping him, and it was actually quite a shame that kidney disease eventually stopped his run as such a great player.
I think, yeah, we'll just leave it that you give you some action. Just watch some of the pictures here, and you can watch just how good Jonah Lomu was. I think it's enough talking from me, but just have a good gander at just how great the guy was. And that's remembering Jonah. He'll be forever missed. The big fella, the man who changed rugby forever. Certainly a lovely trip down memory lane there, and remembering the great fella, the big fella, Jonah Lomu there. Tell me what your favourite memory was down in the comments. Let me know what you thought of the big man. Will we ever see somebody like him again? Is there ever going to be somebody that can change rugby like he did? But thanks for watching. Cheers.